Chapter 1. Dust-covered murals reappearing the sky. Time, 1845 BC. Location, outside Nineveh, in the heart of the Assyrian Empire, near Mosul, Iraq today. In the archaeological area of the ruins, a broken mud brick has strange scratches on it beside a stone wall covered with yellow sand. It glows faintly in the sunlight, like broken starlight. Under the cracked soil of the Mesopotamian region lies a secret language forgotten by time. This land once gave birth to one of the world's earliest empires, Assyria. They wrote hegemony with war, blood, and system, but also left an inexplicable puzzle in the mud bricks and walls. It is a mural. A star map, outlined with cuneiform and geometric carvings, was reawakened during an archaeological excavation. The arrangement and trajectory of stars presented in the murals surprisingly accurately depict the structure of the Milky Way and the motion of planets, which are only now measurable in modern times. They even include an area of the sky known as the Dark Mouth, an astronomical region that can only be observed with a radio telescope. How was this image, carved more than 3,000 years ago, painted? Who sealed this mural deep in the imperial temple? And who understood the message it conveyed thousands of years later? Restoration of the ancient city of Nineveh. In 1849, British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard accidentally discovered the fragments of this mural while excavating an Assyrian palace in the ruins of Nineveh. At that time, he classified it as a temple decorative star map and did not study it further. It was not until a century later that NASA astronomers saw this set of rubbings collected in the cellar of the British Museum during a cultural exchange visit. Their first reaction was not to marvel at its artistry, but shock, because the arrangement of stars in the image was extremely close to the image of the Orion Arm Nebula taken by the Herschel Space Telescope in the 21st century. The star map mural image is superimposed on the modern star map. The boundary between science and mythology is suddenly blurred at this moment. This group of star map murals began to be questioned. It is not a simple sacrificial totem, nor is it decorative art, but a kind of record, a kind of transmission, or a kind of communication that we have not yet understood. Time, 700 BC and 1968 AD. Location, archaeological archives of Nineveh and British Museum underground collection. At first glance, this mural looks like a confusing star map, but after modern image reconstruction and interpretation by astronomers, the mystery becomes even more confusing. The main spiral pattern resembles the spiral arm structure of the Milky Way. The 7 elliptical tracks correspond to the orbits of the 7 planets in the solar system, including Uranus and Neptune, which are invisible to the naked eye. Uranus was not discovered until 1781 by William Herschel, and Neptune was not confirmed until 1846 through mathematical prediction. However, this mural included them in the map in 700 BC. Modern scientists use image software to perform superposition analysis and compare the galactic structure photographed by the Herschel Space Telescope. Even more bizarre is that a curved line in the picture connects 2 star points marked as Eye of Anu. This arc actually fits the calculation model of a certain low-frequency electromagnetic wave propagation path. In NASA's terminology, it is called a non-geosynchronous orbit communication belt, a trajectory planning method commonly used for deep space probes to communicate with the Earth. The fire from heaven descended from above, drawing the stars to the Earth and returning them to the gate of origin. This inscription was translated into religious poetry in Assyrian. However, from the analysis of the language structure, it does not conform to the common mythological description style of the time. Instead, it is more like a piece of explanatory language, and even has operational meaning. More and more researchers have begun to boldly propose hypotheses. Is this a communication protocol? Or is it a coordinate map for ancient communication with people from the stars? In 1968, the Astronomical Bureau of the Soviet Academy of Sciences accidentally mentioned in their research on the Epic of Gilgamesh that the king of heaven Anu once carved a map of the sky on the wall of the temple to guide the boat of the gods. At that moment, murals could no longer be simply regarded as decorative art. How did humans know the spiral structure at the center of the Milky Way 2,000 years ago? Why did they carve these star maps into the walls of hidden temples instead of letting the public worship them? Was it a revelation from the gods, some ancient stargazing technique? or A Lost History of Interstellar Contact. Chapter 3. Traces from the Other Side of the Stars, Assyrians and God's Visitors. Time intertwined, 676 BC, 2003 AD, the legendary Gate of Zipapa legend. Location: Nineveh Temple Ruins, Babylon Temple Ruins, Iraq National Museum under U.S. occupation. The ruins of Nineveh under the night sky, with moonlight shining on the broken stone pillars. The camera slowly moves forward through a stone door, and what comes into view is the room hidden in the murals. Spiral patterns are engraved on the ground, and traces of burns remain on the central stone base. The Assyrian Empire worshipped Anu, the sky god who lived in the highest heaven, and was also the one who brings knowledge and fire in their mythology. And beneath the temple ruins where the star map mural is located, archaeologists have discovered an enclosed stone chamber. The base in the center of the stone chamber is hexagonal, engraved with star tracks all around, but there are traces of high-temperature melting on the surface. Preliminary analysis suggests that the site was burned by a heat source exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, a temperature that was unexplainable given the technology of the 7th century BC. The Iraq War broke out in 2003. Shortly after the U.S. military entered Mosul, it occupied the area around the Nineveh ruins. Then, a large number of unpublished documents, clay tablets, and mural rubbings mysteriously disappeared in the chaos. Among them was a stone tablet called the Guide Map of the Gate of Anu. It is said that this stone tablet not only records the complete version of the mural, but also is engraved with an unknown system called non-Earth mathematical symbols by modern researchers. In 2005, an American documentary called Deep in the Forbidden Zone revealed in unauthorized archives. In the remaining structure under the Assyrian temple, there is an entrance to the underground cavity. There, 4 black stone pillars were found arranged side by side. Their material is not natural stone, but a composite containing rare earth elements, which has weak electromagnetic response. This structure was later discovered in the ruins of the Babylonian temple. Both of these places coincide with the cuneiform inscriptions that say, "God descended from the sky." These structures do not look like they were built to worship the gods, but rather to call upon them, archaeologist Salim Hassan wrote in a private letter. Who was it calling? Why was it built in the deepest part of the imperial temple, and civilians were not allowed to approach? Was it the return of the heavenly boat recorded in Assyrian mythology? Or some ancient, as yet ununderstood communications platform? From ancient myths to modern military investigations, a clue hidden in the shadows of history gradually emerges. The gods that the Assyrians talked about may have never left the earth. They left behind star maps, codes, and a channel that has not yet been unlocked. Chapter 4. Global Resonance, Earth's Antenna Network. Hidden in the star map mural? Time: 2000 BC. Today: Location: Nineveh, Giza, Nazca, Armenian Plateau, Kazakhstan, Archaim Ring. The star map murals of the Assyrian Empire may not only tell about the universe, they may also hide something about the Earth itself, a connection relationship. A group of geographers and astronomers analyzed the geometric patterns on the murals and found that there was an equiangular triangle configuration that was independent of longitude and latitude, but highly regular. Strangely, when this configuration was projected onto the sky above the Earth, it happened to connect several incredible ancient sites. The Giza pyramids in Egypt coincide with the 3 stars array pattern in the mural. Nazca Lines in Peru presents a structure similar to a communication radar fan. Zorat's Karar, Armenia, an astronomical observation point that predates Stonehenge, with coordinates collinear with Nineveh due east. Archaim Ruins in Kazakhstan. The geometric patterns are almost identical, with the central stone ring radiating in an octagonal shape, similar to the radiating tracks around the Eye of Anu in the mural. What force allowed these ancient civilizations to draw almost identical star map arrays, despite being thousands of miles apart in time and space? And why are most of these ruins aligned with astronomy, and even have geomagnetic response paths that can only be measured by modern people? Experts simulated an animation in which a ray of light emanated from the Nineveh mural, connecting to other ancient sites in turn, and eventually forming a model of a huge Earth interstellar communication network. All of this was proposed in a private research called Project Starground in 2014. Researchers called these points Earth's radio wave reflection nodes, and speculated that these sites were some kind of ancient energy relay points, or astronomical synchronizers. They proposed the hypothesis that the star map in the Assyrian murals is both an observation of the sky and a map of the Earth. It marks the nodes on the surface that the ancients believed could correspond to the stars. The rotating radiating center in the mural overlaps with the Earth's nighttime light layer, showing the consistency of the distribution of modern satellite cities and ancient ruins. What is even more disturbing is that the lines connecting these star map nodes are surprisingly close to the locations of current military ground antenna arrays of many countries, such as HARP and high-frequency sky waves. Could it be that modern humans are inadvertently rebuilding an ancient communication network? Or is it that this network has never really been broken? It is just waiting for a trigger moment to start again? Chapter 5. Seal and Silence. The Last Guardian of the Star Map Mural. Time: 612 BC. Before the fall of the Assyrian Empire. Location: Nineveh Palace. Priest Hall, Babylonian military attack record. Excerpt from The Scroll of the Lost King. In 612 BC, Nineveh, the heart of the Assyrian Empire, was engulfed in flames overnight. The enemy came from a coalition of Babylonians, Medes, and Scythians, and their goal was not to plunder gold and silver, but to destroy something that was most hidden. Just 1 year before the war broke out, Assyrian king Ashurbanipal II suddenly ordered the complete closure of the Star Chart Hall in the royal palace temple. Anyone who entered this room was either sent to the frontier or voluntarily sacrificed. The Star Chart priests, once a group with the highest knowledge authority in the empire, disappeared in just a few months. This is a rubbing of the unearthed Scroll of the Lost King, which reads, "We will eventually lose the way of revelation. The main star will no longer respond. Its gates are closed, and our people cannot cross the border. Seal its map, hide its words, and burn its boats. My king made a pact with the gods not to return." This tragic text was pieced together from an extremely damaged copy of the Scroll of the Lost King. The words "the door was closed" and "the boat was burned" sparked widespread controversy. Do they imply that the Assyrian Empire once opened a kind of passage to the astral world? In the end, in order to avoid some kind of danger, it had to seal it with its own hands? This is an archaeological animation restoration. The priests placed multiple layers of stone bricks and cuneiform spells around the mural, and a closed snake eye symbol was drawn in red mineral in the center. Hidden in the deepest layer of the star map mural, an area that is almost invisible to us today, is a unique array of symbols that do not belong to any known Assyrian language. In the center of the pattern is a closed eye, surrounded by 5 symbols rotating counterclockwise, like some kind of sealing mechanism. Scholars call it Anu's End, speculating that it may be a graphic language, a non-linguistic information lock. Until the fall of Assyria, this mural had never been known to the public. It was sealed up in the deepest structure of the palace, and not even a single word was left in the official history of Assyria. It was as if the entire empire, on the eve of its demise, chose to completely erase a memory that transcends the stars from the surface of the earth. Pull back, the last glimpse of the mural sleeping quietly behind the stone bricks until it was revealed again by the dust 2,500 years later. Who made the Assyrian priests choose silence? What did they see and record? Why would they seal the only possible information that could lead to the outside world forever? Perhaps this was not only the fall of an empire, but also the last disconnection between an ancient civilization and some higher existence in the universe. Chapter 6. Unlocking the Gate of Heaven. Artificial Intelligence and the Untriggered Instructions in the Murals. Time: 2017. Present. Location: Cambridge University. AI and Language Model Research Center, Johns Hopkins Digital Archaeology Project, Tal Rifa Site, Israel. When ancient linguists and archaeologists tried everything but still could not decipher the hidden structure in the star map mural, A group of artificial intelligence engineers began to try to use machine eyes to reread this data spanning 3,000 years. They are not linguists, but algorithm alchemists. Their tool is not a dictionary, but a neural network. In 2017, Cambridge University, in collaboration with the Johns Hopkins Digital Archaeology Project, used AI image layering reconstruction technology to separate the non-language layer in the mural rubbings and discovered a set of recursively symmetrical graphics, which included a so far unidentified rotation code. They were surprised to find that the grid of 27 points did not conform to any known writing system, but was extremely similar to the position pointer array in the PDS format, a data redundancy encoding format used by NASA for deep space probes. What is even more disturbing is that this coding structure is not descriptive, but instructive. In other words, it is not telling something but requiring execution of something. AI further translated it into a parametric model and finally presented the following image: a dynamic star map composed of 5 main orbits with the slowly rotating Eye of Anu in the center. Every 72 seconds, when it rotates to a specific position, it will release a command signal of a specific frequency. These signals are simulated and sent to the low-orbit satellite test platform. An abnormal echo phenomenon was triggered in a certain frequency range. An undisclosed briefing of the U.S. Air Force mentioned, this frequency band should be blank under the normal astronomical background, but it produced a weak pulse echo within 12 seconds after reception, and the source is unknown. It responded, but it was not the equipment on the ground that responded, but a low-energy reflection point in orbital space that had not yet been registered. The coordinates are located in the direction that the Eye of Anu will be pointed at after 72 seconds in the simulation, the Scorpio star field. This discovery shocked all the scientists involved in the project. They began to suspect that the mural was never just a record, but a mechanism, a protocol waiting to be triggered, or even a key. In 2023, an internal memo was leaked, showing that NASA and the Israel Archaeological Bureau jointly deployed multi-dimensional data projection equipment at the Tal Rifa ruins to attempt to reconstruct an ancient communication environment based on the mural coding simulation. What was the result? No one knows. Because that test has never been publicly mentioned, only in an internal document that was uploaded by mistake, there was a sentence like this: image channel opened, unknown structure responded, sound interrupted. Are the star map murals of the Assyrian Empire a long-forgotten scientific heritage, or are they the echoes of a higher civilization? This ancient stone wall may never have been truly silent. It is just waiting for the human who can hear it speak. Are you ready to receive it? If you also feel a certain call from the ancient star map, don't forget, we may be at the door of another connection that is about to open. Welcome to subscribe to the channel, like forward, and leave your opinion in the comment area. Do you think this mural is a masterpiece of astronomy or a secret communication from the stars?